Well, thank you guys for joining us today for our meeting. Just have a few things of note. We have a Facebook page, and I have the link. I think you guys can see my screen. Facebook.com/SBE48. I'll post meeting info and hopefully other stuff as I get the page going. Our next meeting will be Wednesday, March 15th. Shane Tillman he may or may not come into town, so we're not sure yet if we're going to do an in-person or another Zoom meeting. So just stay tuned for that. I'll post it on Facebook, on the website, and in an email. And then I'm working on the Lookout Mountain picnic that we do every July. It's looking like Friday, July 21st. I'll be getting Famous Dave's to cater it for us, and looking for sponsors and swag and anything else. So if you guys, if your companies want to donate items, that's great. Get in touch with me. Or if you know of any vendors that might be interested in joining us, we can figure that out as well. Today's meeting will be recorded, as you know. We'll put it up on YouTube later, probably tomorrow or Friday. That way, if you want to rewatch it or direct some other members to it, you can. And then, as always, don't forget, we have a website, smpte-sbe48.org. We post a newsletter every month. We have all the important info about our chapter on there, and go visit that if you ever have any questions. But with that, I will give this over to Bobby. I think you can just share your screen and it'll overtake mine. But take it away, Bobby.
Help if I take the mute button off, of course. Thanks, Amanda. So we're here to talk about some remote site management and centralized network. I know you guys are always here. There we go. Now I'm sharing the screen. Are out at sites and watching your RF and antennas pretty closely. Centralized network management, we'll go over what it is, some of the applications, and from there talk about what you guys use it for. I'm with Sweet Life Systems. I've been here for about 2 years, and we've got software called Access or Statmon. Some of you guys might have heard that before. We've been doing centralized network management for well over 20 years, and many of our clients are both on a hub basis as well as just single radio stations or TV stations. We work with Tegna, as well as O&Os with CBS, and even cable channels like Home Shopping Network. So the experience that we've been doing this for well over 20 years. We started with NVC, and we've grown into radio stations. We've grown into Empire State Building, doing building management and sensors and IoT for them as well. Any questions about Sweet Life? Have you guys heard of us before? All right. Well, so centralized network monitoring is monitoring your remote sites. What we do is bring in data and controls from your site, whether it's in El Dorado or any place like that. Both your Nautel transmitters, or as well as your STL and power, and we bring it all into a single pane of glass to monitor basically all the information at those sites. And what that does for you guys is to really know what's going on at these sites at all times. One of the nice features is fault management. So you can have access monitoring the system and give you notification of anything that goes wrong, whether it's generators, fuel levels, or anything like that out at your sites. It all is all managed and brought into your access services. So that's one of the conveniences of having a centralized network management services. Okay. And you can bring in a lot of different data from your sites. We have network generators for fuel level, as well as power management. So you'll know, what your power levels are, and your transmitters and everything else out there as well. Have you guys been out to, had to go through the sites, this winter already? Have anybody been out there? All right. Well, yep, we've got so what we set up is a transmission management network. Okay, and it's all through an IP, or where we're talking with your Nautel transmitter, as well as your or Gates or Rodian Schwartz, anything like that. And we bring all the data back. A lot of the newer transmitters have GUI interfaces, and what we do is we bring all that information back in and provide that into a single pane of glass of monitoring. That way you're not logging in and logging out of different applications for all of your hardware out there. We also do environmentals. So what's going on at your site, whether it's temperature or open doors or anything like that. All of that can be monitored and brought back into access, including what's up on the tower. So, we have your forward power monitoring. We have both. We work with Jasmos as well as the Nighthawk to monitor your forward power on your antenna. And all that information is brought back into access and logged for troubleshooting. So if something happens, you'll see a spike or something like that. It's actually logged, and you can go back and take a look at the history of what is going on there. Any questions? All right, great. That's good. So we also have, like I mentioned, the remote power. So whether it is your 250 or 480 volt coming into the building, we can bring back probes and monitoring into access. So when you power goes out or it dips, if you're on solar or your batteries or anything like that, then you'll know what's going on at your site at all times. And you can set parameters with access so that it tells you, hey, if it fluctuates too much, you'll get an alert, and you can take a look at what's going on at your site. Then on the management of the power, as I mentioned, you can have notifications for messaging. So it's not only just an email to you, but you can also have it come to your phone, or you can actually set up a phone call from your site when certain parameters are set, and have notification come to you for that. So I'm not certain if everyone has weather management at their sites. So we interface with a couple different weather management devices. So you can have this set up and know, you don't have to depend on who was that, Amanda, that says it's going to rain on Tuesday.
Oh, Mike Nelson.
Yeah, Mike Nelson. You can actually have a pretty good idea of what's going on at your site, and it all comes back into your centralized network management device. So it also can be set up with an internal. The watchdog here does inside the building and enclosure, monitoring environmentals in there, and bring back information on doors and apertures, and if there's a door that opens, all that can be logged and brought back into your centralized network management system too. And then one of the big things that is being talked about a lot now is the EAS systems and reporting to FCC. So with your centralized network management, it also interfaces with your DAC, EAS, and can pull those reports and make that reporting a bit smoother, as well as automated. So we have AI, we call it automated information, going back to going back to Studio. Going back to Studio. Any questions on that? One of the things that we do get asked is about security on a centralized network manager. A lot of this is on your internal network. If you have IP out to the site, it is very secure and protected. So, even your EAS and stuff like that, it's all secure messaging. And so that, is one of the benefits of having one of these. Now, some of you might have multiple stations and multiple sites. We do integrate with multiple site management, where you can bring, and again, it makes it easier to manage these sites, so you're not logging in and logging onto several different GUIs. It's all brought back into your access, so you can just flip from one page to the next, knowing that basically knowing what's going on at your site. Knowledge is very important at when you're managing sites, right? So on the controls, we can bring in multiple sites, and it's customizable on our interface. So you can set up your station and have a big title, and then all of the IoT or services that you're looking to monitor at that site can be set up. And then the next page, you can actually have it set up with the call letters of your other station, and the different sites will have different measurements that they want to check out. So that can all be customized and built for each site, because each site is different. Now in the studio management, so we also can monitor servers and your server room, both from environmentals as well as power and things that are going on in your server room. So you can be notified of, say, there's a really hot day or something like that, and the AC drops out. You'll know what's going on in your server room because you'll get a text message or email, with a discrepancy of your parameters that you set. So that's a huge time saver in knowing what's going on before something starts beeping and beeping at you. So a lot of central network management systems are we customize because every site and every setup is different. So working with a solid one that has a strong can interface with a lot of different software and a lot of different hardware is good. So you'll want to, if you're interested and want to reach out to us, we can build an example of what can be done with the software. Any thoughts or questions from you guys?
I wrote down a list of stuff.
All right.
As you were going there to kind of follow up on here. I take it that the interface with site-based equipment and so forth is primarily SNMP. Is that right?
So SNMP is the most popular right now. We also interface with Serial as well as some of the new APIs and new stuff that's coming out. So SNMP is most oft used, but there's a lot of old stuff there that we interface with, as well as getting data and information from a lot of the IoT devices that are coming out. Some of this stuff is networkable, where you can network all of your environmental sensors and stuff like that. So that's we're very strong with that.
Well, speaking of older stuff, I take it you also have GPIO capability that you can interface with things that either provide a closure or need a closure or both.
Yep. So we have GPIO interface with punch down panel. We can also do Modbus as well.
What premise-based hardware? I was looking at your diagrams and I was seeing some, what were obviously devices at the individual locations to which various things were connecting. Can you tell us what some of these things are?
Absolutely. Let me back up here. So one of the so both on the hardware that we connect with for some of the serial and some of the punch down panel is we call it GPX Pro, and that has a web GUI with it, as well as it interfaces directly to the access system. So the different things that we can attach to, it can be sensors for your gas tanks for keeping things dry, as well as your generators.
So like in this diagram here, this thing that's labeled, what does that say? GPX 32.
Yep.
That is the premise-based device, or at least one of them, to which.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yes.
Got it.
Yep.
And who manufactures this stuff? Is this stuff that is that you purchase?
So we are. So yeah, our software is software based. So this is a C-level box that we have out at sites, and bring the data in on from the punch down panel, like you were saying, serial and closed channels, as well as it has IP input for your SNMP, all in the same box.
All right. I guess the next question I had here is how is the data transported from the remote sites back to wherever? Public internet? I mean, would we have to have public internet at some sort of WAN connection at each of our sites.
Yeah. So
I'm just thinking, because like a lot of Jack sites, for instance, are, they're on a mountaintop someplace, with a couple of solar panels and may or may not have any kind of connectivity other than what do you guys use, Jack? Some kind of you use a satellite backhaul, don't you? I think Jack went to sleep.
No, I didn't go to sleep. I just had two minutes. No, we use VSAT. It's a VSAT network.
so Jack, do you use? You there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Do you use bi-directional satellite, or do you just use the distribution STL out to some of those sites?
Quit muting me a minute. It's a bi-directional, yeah. And it's
Excellent.
over the VSAT KU band network.
Yep. I'm very familiar with those things. I used to be in the satellite industry and very familiar with them. And those are usually, your bandwidth is premium. And that's the nice thing about our service and being a software. You put your GPX out there. It doesn't demand a whole lot of bandwidth. It is IP. And you can even have it set up where it monitors everything at the site, logs everything, and then you can have control over it. You can log into it and then get notifications and things that way. So it can run independently and stand up independently at a remote site with regular check-ins and things like that. It also is not a very bandwidth intensive, because you're just bringing the data back, not a full GUI. Some of these transmitters and things like that, they want to bring back the whole GUI and everything with it, where you have to dial in. All you're bringing back is your data points. So that's a big boon to a very remote site.
So my next question here, I'm almost to the end of my list, by the way.
No, I appreciate it, man.
Would this work in tandem with your traditional legacy remote control? Does it interface with it, or does it replace it?
So it interfaces with it. And we actually have what we call OVI, or optical visual interface, where you can actually set up if you do have a GUI, you can have it logged in to that OVI, and that's just another page on your access interface. That way you're not having to log in and log out, and it's completely secure.
So you could get to your remote control through this interface.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. And or if you want to customize and bring back just certain things via SNMP, it can replace it.
Got it. So what is the price structure? How do you I'm not asking you how much it is. I know that's per that's something you'd have
that
to
goes with the
determine.
design. Yep.
Yeah,
Sure.
but is this an annual fee thing? Is it a per site, per device, how does that?
So it's a permanent license, and then each GPX, we have plugins. If everything in the place is an SNMP, then we just get the SNMP plugin. If you need a mod bus, we can, or a GPIO, and then we have an annual support for it to train as well as update and help you guys with the monitoring.
Very good.
Yep.
One other thing I noticed, that your headquarters address there was in Signal Hill.
Yeah.
Is that where you are? Are you out in that area?
Long Beach. Yep.
You are? Yeah, I was going to say that I used to have an STL on Signal Hill, I shot from there over to Catalina, where our tower site was for many, many years.
Nice.
I also had one on the Queen Mary for a lot of years, and that was kind of interesting. And
Oh, it's always good to go to that site, I'm sure. All the ghosts and.
Oh, it was a chore, Signal Hill was pretty easy. You just drive up there. And then later we moved it over to RPV. It was up on RPV, which was, that was kind of a chore to get to as well. But now we've moved everything inland. We're off the island, and our site's located up in the Santa Ana Mountains down there, pretty close to Sierra Peak.
Yep.
We just do a direct Part 101 microwave link to that site. So, but anyway, those were the days. I just saw Signal Hill, and I thought I've spent a lot of time in Signal Hill.
Yeah. I like the place, and most remote sites are interesting, we'll call it, to get to. Amanda and I were talking about El Dorado and all the switchbacks and things like that to get up to it. And having communication and knowledge of that site, of what you're going to need when you get there, is going to save you money time and time again.
Yeah. Speaking of that, you brought another question to mind. You didn't mention this. I didn't see it on any of the slides. Maybe it got past me. Do you provide, or can you provide, video feeds, security video feeds as part of this?
Absolutely. So Amanda says that was saying she's got 2 cameras, watching both inside their facility as well as out. So that same OVI is HTML, and you can pop an HLS player right into it. So you can be looking at that as well as seeing telemetry of your Nautel or Gates or Rode, all at the same time.
Very good. One-stop shopping.
Yeah.
We run a lot of cameras at our site, some of them more than others, but like that one I was telling you about up there, in Eastern Orange County, Sierra Peak area, we've got, I don't know how many, 9 or 10 cameras up there that watch everything all the time.
Yep.
And it's just so remote, we got to keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
But even some of the urban sites, we really have more trouble with those than we do the remote ones.
Oh, especially if you're in California,
Yeah. Yes.
We won't go there.
All right.
Now, do you you can even have recording going on them and stuff like that. There's a lot of, as I said, knowledge is power, and you're really the video is helpful, but the sensors themselves, I know somebody who had a video on his gas tank for the dehydrations on their antenna, and had the camera. He wanted to just have the camera on there. Didn't want to put the sensor on there, and sure enough, he ran out and didn't know it, because he had the camera on it, but didn't look at the camera. And that's where our AI, the automated information, and having a sensor on there, you would have gotten a text or a notification that, hey, you need to send the guy up to refill.
Are you going to put your contact information up for us somewhere?
Yeah, for sure. And I believe Amanda is going to be sending that out as well.
Yeah, Amanda, can you post it with the YouTube?
Yes.
Okay.
And Bobby, I don't think you caught the relation. That's Dad.
Oh, there he is. Yep. That's great. Good to meet you, Dad.
Yeah, great. Thank you for being here, Bobby. I appreciate this. This is all very interesting.
For sure.
I'll shut up now.
Well, no, you did
That's actually where Amanda
job.
gets it. But okay, so I'll swing it back over to you, Amanda, for closing and whatever else we want to do there.
Well, cool. Well, thank you, Bobby. That was a nice, quick presentation, which I just love. very informative as well. And yeah, definitely, I'll post your info at the end of the YouTube video, as always, with
Mhm.
as I do with everybody, and that way anybody can contact you with questions. But we appreciate it. Again, next meeting is next month, same day, March 15th. I'll just stay tuned, and I'll let you know whether it'll be in person with lunch or around the same time on Zoom. But that's about it, I guess. I'll stop the recording. Thanks, guys.